How do you make your microphone sound better? I'll explain. Welcome to the DIY Video Studio channel that helps you turn your passion into content. So the first thing to check is whether your microphone is an end address or side address microphone. That's the audio engineer speak for the direction in which the mic picks up sound. This FIFINE K669D dynamic studio microphone and this Shure PGA48 handheld mic are examples of an end address mic, so you speak into the end of the microphone. What you don't do is you don't speak into the side of the mic if you want good, clear sound. Whereas this Blue Yeti studio microphone in cardioid mode, that's the polar pattern that most YouTubers and streamers will use, it's a side address microphone. You speak into the side of the microphone, and specifically the front side where you see the blue logo. But if you speak into the end of this microphone, or into the rear side of the Blue Yeti, your audio will sound bad. Now, can I take a moment to say, if you'd like to support this channel, please like, share and subscribe. I've also got links down in the description to the gear that I use and the products that I mention in this video. If you use any of those links, thank you very much indeed. The next tip is to use the mic at the correct distance. Now, just because my FIFINE dynamic microphone can pick up sound from a distance, and I've got it over here where it would be if I were perhaps a gamer and I've got a keyboard in front of me and my microphone is beyond the keyboard, well, just because I can have it at that distance and because it can record at that distance doesn't mean that you should use it that way. You need to keep your microphone close to you, generally less than a foot or less than 30 centimeters away. If you're using a lavalier microphone like this, it should be about 6 to 8 inches away from your mouth. And even closer for handheld vocal mics like this Shure PGA48. And studio mics like this FIFINE K669D, it should ideally be 1.5 to 4 inches from my mouth to give a warm tone to my voice, and that also helps to reduce background noises. That's because by getting closer, I appear to be louder to the microphone. You can then turn down the gain so any background noise will seem quieter. But the drawback of getting close is that words that start with consonants like P's and B's might produce pops. For instance, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, and pops sound bad. To avoid vocal pops, you need to stop the blast of air hitting the mic capsule without stopping the pressure wave, which is the sound. Now, to do that, what I do is I fit a large foam windscreen to the microphone. Now, this one is designed for the Shure SM7B microphone, but it also fits this FIFINE K669D. Now, although this windscreen works fine, pop filters work even better. Now, this is an inexpensive fabric pop filter. It works perfectly well and is quite effective. However, if you've got a larger budget, then I would actually use a metal grill pop filter. They're more effective and they also have the advantage of being visually transparent, or at least partially visually transparent. So you can see through it. So if you're recording a voiceover and you've got a script, you can actually put your script just behind the microphone and you can still see through the metal grill pop filter. You can't do that with one of the fabric ones. Next, record somewhere quiet. The less background noise, the cleaner and better your audio will be. I'm recording in my voice booth, but you probably don't have something like this. But what you can do is get away from, say, your computer, aircon, and other noise sources. That way, your audio will be much cleaner and sound much better. If you're recording a voiceover and don't need to be seen, you can improvise a voiceover booth by using a clothes closet. Put a cushion at the back, clothes on either side, and those soft surfaces will help to absorb the reverberation or the echo. And I'll demonstrate the effect that the closet can have. So I'll turn into the closet and go slightly in, and you can probably hear that there's a difference to my voice whilst I'm recording facing into the closet and when I face out back towards the camera into the room. If you're recording in a small room like this studio space, which is 8 foot by 10 foot, you can hang some blankets or drapes on the walls to get that same effect. Now, most budget microphones come with a desktop stand included. The one on the FIFINE looks like this. It's a little tripod, and on the YETI, it's a more sophisticated and heavier stand, but most are actually useless for a couple of reasons. The first is that they position the microphone too low down. To be at the correct distance, you need to bend forward and speak like this. And of course, you're now looking really strange on video. The other reason is that when the microphone is on a desktop stand, it's mechanically in contact with your desk, which will pick up bumps and knocks, you typing on the keyboard, and even the sound of your laptop's fan whirring in the background coming through the desk. Can you hear that? And I can prove that it's coming through the desk because I'll lift the laptop up. It's now the same distance, but it's not on the desk. And you can hear that there's a difference. Now, instead of using the desktop stand that comes with the microphone, get a proper mic stand or boom arm. Even better, get a shock mount like I've got fitted here. It'll help isolate the microphone body from any unwanted vibrations that manage to get through the metal of the mic stand or boom arm. Next, if you're using an XLR dynamic microphone, don't use one of these. An XLR to USB cable. I'm now recording with this microphone using that cable to my laptop computer, and the recording level is really low, and to let you hear it in the finished video, I've had to amplify that recording. And when I boost my level, I'm also boosting the self-noise hiss that's in the electronics. Now, instead of using a XLR to a USB cable like this to record with one of these microphones, what I would do is get an audio interface with good preamps instead, or get a recorder like this Zoom H5. But if you've already got an interface and you need to turn the gain dial all the way up to max to get a decent mic level, then what I would do is I'd get an inline mic preamp. This Coda mic preamp cost me about $60, and it provides 28 dB of clean gain. Trust me, it makes a huge difference to the microphone signal, and you should find it to be a game changer for dynamic microphones. So that's how to improve the sound from your microphone. But the next step is to process the audio. I've got a video that shows you how I process my audio, and I'll put a link up on the screen. If you'd like to help my channel grow, please like, share, and subscribe. To make sure you don't miss any of my new videos, smash that notification bell. And thank you in advance if you check out the links down in the description. Until next time, thanks for watching and keep creating.